What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Game On Improve Your Health podcast. My name is Austin J, or hallucinodream if you know me from the gaming community. And joining me once again is my lovely wife and co-host, Christina. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
It's always your pleasure. And tonight we are talking about how nutrition ties into fitness. So how, your diet may affect your fitness routine, or, what you could do for your fitness routine. Now, disclaimer, we're not registered dietitians or nutritionists. So this is all anecdotal and experience-based and, research-based information that we're giving. So we're going to give tips and tricks basically on what you can do, and we're going to give you information and insight on what we do. So do you have anything that you might want to start off with?
Let's
backtrack for a second. Okay. How do you, just for the viewers out there, I already know where you're going. How do you use nutrition?
Know where I'm going?
How do you use nutrition in your life and use it for when you change fitness routines, because your life changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you change your nutrition with your fitness? Let's say you go with your goals, okay?
Yeah.
Goals.
Okay. I think just understanding, like, we've, continued to talk, spoke, like, I can't even talk. It's late.
We continue to spoke, but we spoke about talking.
Yeah. As we have already went over, I know we've said this before, is that, like, it's, your goals are ever changing. Your routine is ever changing. So, your nutrition is also going to be ever changing. So, I think that especially as a woman, you sometimes, like, fall into these traps of, like, you have to have, like, this low carb diet to be, like, nice, fit, and skinny, like, not have a flabby stomach. And so, like, those are definitely, like, traps that I've kind of, like, fallen into. And as I've gone through my workout routines and my goals and just my, like, overall life, I've realized that there are times for that, but then there also are times to, that you just need a well-rounded diet, or maybe you need a little bit more carbs than you normally do. So it's really just about, like, how much you're working out, and again, like, what your goals are. So just a couple tips for me that I, like, normally do is, like, I'm not drinking right now because I'm doing a no drink challenge. And then I was pregnant, so really haven't been heavily drinking. But I don't plan, like, so if I'm training for something, right? Like, if I'm training for, like, a half marathon or any type of race, like, I don't plan my, like, long running days for, like, days at, like, a day after I know I'm gonna maybe go out the night before. So just try to, like, it doesn't mean that you can't ever drink. Just say, like, maybe I'll do my long run before I go out instead of doing it the day after, because you're not going to feel like doing it, or there's a greater potential of you not feeling like you're doing it. So really just managing your schedule also. So I think, watching, what you're eating, what you're drinking, but then also watching your workout schedule to kind of accommodate those times. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
So, like, if we know, like, on Friday,
too, not just
exactly.
Drinking,
so, like, if we know, like, Friday night, like, we're gonna, eat Chinese food, and we know that, like, normally on, like, after we eat Chinese food, like, the next day we don't really feel that great. So, like, again, maybe we don't plan our long run or our, like, heavy workout for Saturday morning. Maybe we do it either Saturday night or take a rest day on Saturday and then get back to it on Sunday. So really just, I feel like for me, like, I've always, like, not been able to, like, limit myself in, like, if I tell myself I can't eat this or I can't do this, then it's just going to make you want to do those things more. You'll kind of have, like, the urge to do them more. So just really coming up with a good schedule for yourself. And not necessarily having, like, cheat days, but just allowing yourself to, which we kind of talked about on the nutrition.
Correct. Yeah, we talked about it a couple different times.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Just allowing yourself to, like, hey, if you want to have a piece of cake, like, okay, fine, have a piece of cake. Like, it's totally fine. But just understanding and recognizing how that contributes or doesn't contribute to your goal.
Correct. I'm going to go ahead and say she talked about Chinese and cake today because that's what we had. That's what we had. So those were two references on
Yeah.
basically what we had today. And
But I'm still going to run later.
that's right. And it's that's right because you have to do the challenge.
Yes.
So even though you might not want to.
Yep.
But it's in moderation, right? So we decided to have there's a birthday in the family, so we decided to have that's what they wanted was Chinese food, so we ate the Chinese food, right? So the only thing we've eaten this week, right?
Yep.
That was outside of our normal, and that's fine, and that's the only thing we're going to be eating that we plan on, and
Yep.
that's not going to affect your goals, whether you have endurance goals or fitness related resistance training goals, like build muscle, all this and all that. So
Yep.
what I just lost my train of thought, but it does go for not just alcohol but food. So if you plan on going out, you're going out with your friends and stuff, you can still plan to do your run and stuff, maybe plan to do it later. So if you're normally a morning run person, don't plan to do your long run, just like Christina said that day. I want to say something too. I'm going to say this quite often. Carbs are not your enemy.
Yeah.
Your food is not your enemy. Everything is not your enemy. None of this stuff makes you fat. Okay? There's a lot of people who say, oh, I have to avoid carbs because it makes me fat. And then they don't eat carbs, and then they feel awful, and they don't know why. Well, it's because you're not getting any carbs, okay? Carbs is a very good source of energy. Your body likes to take those carbs. There's a whole, we'll get into that in another episode, but you don't have to. You can try limiting some carbs. There are different types of carbs. There are high glycemic index and low glycemic index. You want the low ones. They, burn slower, basically. You want to try to get those. It's like wheat bread and stuff. That's what we eat, as opposed to the white bread. Or we'll get into that too. But there's a lot of different. But so carbs don't generally. They're not your enemy. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Or
when
just
you gotta hold.
Sorry.
Please hold. If you are just getting into a fitness routine, right, and you hear all this stuff about carbs, and that's your thought process, just eliminate that thought process.
Yep.
And just go about eating normally. Learn about the different carbs, right, the carbohydrates and the glycemic index, and then change that a little bit and see how you feel. But continue your routine and start working out and whatnot to ensure that you have the energy you need. So it's not that the carbs themselves or anything that you put in there or the fats, because there are a lot of healthy fats are required for your body to function properly. They don't generally make people fat. It's how much of it people consume and how little exercise they do. So there's a little misconception there that we want to debunk.
Yep.
And I'll let you continue what you were going to say quick.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of brought me to like a couple, different points, but like, yeah, again, that's always something that I have fallen into is, the like stereotypical like person on the magazine, and then like with the, like low carb diet or whatever, like which they really don't tell you all of the things that they're doing. So like, what kind of carbs are they eating? How much are they working out? Like what, like, so it doesn't always go into all of the details that you might need. So, like you said, don't fall into that, don't fall into that trap and listen to your body. And then I was going to
That sounded a little weird. You said don't fall into the trap and listen to your body. Don't fall into that trap. Then there's no sense.
Yes.
Listen to your body. That's what you need to do. Listen to your body instead of falling into the trap.
Yes.
That could have been taken
Don't
the wrong
fall
way.
into the trap of listening to your
Listen
body.
to your body.
Yeah.
While you're thinking of what you were going to say, let's continue on this topic too. Everybody's body is different.
Yes.
I need carbs, and I like to basically load up on carbs. And by load, I'm not saying I want 300 grams of carbs a day. I get what there are statistics that have
I remember what I was going to say.
perfect. There's statistics that have like a set number, like grams, that the body typically needs for the average person, male and female, on a daily basis. And I hit basically that. That's my goal, and I want to hit that because I'm going to burn that energy. I know that mostly, throughout the day, because I'm chasing around the kid all day, and I do run and I do work out, so I'm going to hit that. And I'm one of those people who absolutely needs carbs. Now, there are people who don't need carbs, and there are people who function and their athletic performance does not suffer without having that many carbs. And that if you don't know how your body is, you just have to, work around that and try to find that, right? So just test the waters a little bit.
Yep. So one of what I remembered, what I was going to say, it's like if you've ever seen those pictures of like what 2,000 calories looks like, and then it's like a McDonald's cheeseburger and like a Coke,
And a small
and
fry.
then and then a small fry, and then on the other side, it's like
It's a whole
salad,
party tray
protein,
of healthy foods, yeah.
like healthy snacks, like yogurt, granola, like all of these different things. So it's like, well, you could either have your 2,000 calories in a one only filling for a couple hour meal.
It's not going to satiate you very long either. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, or you could have a long lasting whole day of nutrition, on
Correct.
On a 2,000 calories. So again, it's not about what you're necessarily eating, or like how many carbs or whatever, like, but it's about eat smart, so like don't just focus on like not eating that piece of bread, but like, well, how can I, is that gonna help me hit my goal? And sorry, we're just watching our baby camera, and that's why I'm getting a little distracted. So is that going to help you reach your goal? And are there other foods that I could eat that I could enjoy and will still help me maintain my goal? Does that make sense?
Yep. And so endurance, speaking of goals, your nutrition for endurance and your nutrition for, gaining muscle are probably going to be different. You're going to want to load up on different things for both. Mm-hmm. So typically, as an example, when I want to start gaining muscle and I want to work out heavier than my endurance training, I want to add more calories, right? And I'm not just adding empty calories, I'm adding more calories and carbs, because I know I'm going to, the good carbs, right? Healthier carbs, because I know I'm going to burn those while I'm working out. And I always still run, right? So I still am going to burn carbs while I run. So even if I run first, which I do, we'll get into that, but I am still going to need carbs to lift later, right? Because if I don't, and this has happened in the past, again, you're going to have to test the waters, right, to see how you feel. But I've gone and run. I've eaten. I've gone and run. I always wait about 90 minutes minimum. Then I will go and run, and then I work out afterwards. I don't have energy to work out because I burn all my fuel already, right? So I load up on the carbs. I want healthy fats, right, in there, and some protein to make sure to fuel my muscles, right, and every system in my body that needs to work properly when I'm working out and running. Now, when you're weightlifting, you're gonna want more, just like that, and when you're endurance. Depending on your amount of endurance, you might have to do a little bit of research depending on your endurance. I'm not an expert in endurance. Again, we're not nutritionists or registered dietitians, but not experts when it comes to what you need to eat for certain events. But you're also going to want to load up on carbs, right, for long-term endurance to burn that fuel so that you don't crash so much. And it's very important. I don't think people talk about this enough. When you're doing endurance, let's say you're running 6 miles or 10 miles a day. Not every single day. In that one day, let's say you decide you want to do a 10-mile run on a Saturday. Bring fuel with you as well. So bring some energy packets. Bring people bring mustard, right? That gives you you need sodium, right? The sodium inside there.
It helps with leg cramps.
It helps with cramps, but it also helps to fuel you because it replenishes sodium, and there's some carbs in there. But there are a bunch of fuel packets, very cheap. I'm calling them fuel packets, but what are they actually called?
I don't know.
There's a name for them. Oh, my lantern! Somebody help us out who's listening to the podcast and let us know. I'm gonna figure it out before that, but I still want you to tell me. But they're little packets. They're made by like Gatorade.
Energy shots.
Energy shots, basically, yeah. Except just not energy shots. Like don't get an espresso shot and just be drinking it on the run. Anyways, but fuel yourself. Bring a little bit of water too. Fuel yourself on these runs, right? Do that during working out too. People do that. Some people drink protein through working out. I myself can't do that because that makes me feel worse. Like I feel like my body is just unable to do everything at once for some weird reason, even though I do everything at once. but my body can't do that. But some people do. They drink protein throughout working out, and they say that helps them a significant amount because then they maintain energy the whole time. Try that too. Maybe that'll help. What you need to do basically is start from the beginning, especially if you're new to working out and a resistance training program or endurance. Just start with your regular nutrition routine, like what you're doing, right? And if you're not on a good path, try to make that path. And we've talked about this in our nutrition one. If you haven't listened to that episode, go ahead and listen to that episode. We have a whole episode on nutrition. Start slow on changing things out, see how you feel, and then you can alter things. And if you ever have any questions, you can reach out to us. We can answer to the best of our ability. And if we can't, then we can, tell you that we can, and maybe suggest talking to a registered dietitian or a nutritionist. They do consults sometimes for free, so you don't really have to pay for the first consult. And even if you pay for their services, I mean, it's a lifetime of knowledge that you gain from them, which is amazing. So you talk to them once or twice, and maybe they help you out, and you never need them again, which is the goal, the ultimate goal, right? To be able to do it yourself. So you just have to make sure you match up with your goals, which are what Christina said earlier in the episode.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to a registered dietitian before. I was at like the peak of my, we were like really doing Spartan races. Like we were doing a ton of them. So I was lifting a lot. We were running a lot. And I just felt like I wasn't getting to like the level of, I guess like muscle that I was kind of expecting, or I didn't, kind of look the way that I thought I should look after, doing all of these things. So I did go. I met with personal trainers and I met with registered dietitians. And like my biggest thing was they were like, they asked me everything I ate in a day, how much, how often I, did weights, and how much I was lifting, how much I was running. And then she was like, well, it doesn't really sound like you're eating a lot of protein. So then I started, upping my protein, just being a little bit more mindful. Again, it's not like I was like going crazy, like weighing my stuff, but it's just like, okay, like now I'm more mindful of it. And all of that was free. Like that was just my first free consultation. And I really didn't need them for really anything else. So, you can get good advice. Again, it doesn't have to be like exact measurements. It could just be now I'm a little bit more conscious of something that I wasn't before.
Yeah, I have a couple things I need to say for sure. There's really no reason that you need to count calories and count macro nutrients. Sorry, just had a brain fart. No reason to do that. It's going to drive you absolutely insane. It's very difficult to do. Very difficult. Use an app to do that. There's an app to do that. You can do generalized. Like, don't put everything specific in there. Do generalized to try to get a generalized area of what you need. It never has to be perfect. You just need basically the range, right? That'll drive you absolutely insane, and you'll lose progress because that's going to drive you nuts, and it's going to fuel obsession. You do not want to get to that point. That is dangerous territories. Another thing is nobody really talks about this either, and I meant to say at the beginning of the episode because that's how important it is. When you start working out and you start a fitness routine and you start doing resistance training, muscle weighs more than fat. And not many people tell you this, but when you start gaining muscle and losing fat and you get on the scale, it's going to go up, okay? Especially at the beginning of your fitness routine. It's going to go up because you're gaining muscle, which is heavier than any other part of your body, okay? Besides for the water, probably, because that makes up a lot of your body. But it weighs more than fat, right? So you shed off 3 pounds of fat, you gain 4 pounds of muscle. Now you gain a pound, and you're like, well, what the hell? It's been 2 months, and now I've gained a pound.
Yeah, I've just gained weight.
Well, no, you did gain a pound, right? But it was of muscle, and you lost fat in transition, and now you actually can see the difference, right? It's been two months. Take progress pictures. You see yourself every day. So there's another thing. Take some progress pictures for yourself, and don't do it every single day. Do it like once every 2 or 3 months, just to see the difference. And if you're working hard at it, because initially it's going to be tough, right? Once you break through that plateau, it'll be much easier. But once you, when you start doing it, take some progress pictures, because the scale, and this, again, avoid the scale at the beginning, because it's just going to throw you off. And people don't tell you that very often. And then you need to know if that muscle weighs more when you start working out. The scale's going to go up a little bit, and then it's going to start fluctuating. And it's going to fluctuate a lot throughout the day, okay? So make sure that that's not a determining factor on what you eat either. I can tell you, I stopped doing physical activity. I've said this in the nutrition one too, and I cut calories. It caused other problems, right? Because I cut too many calories, I lost a bunch of muscle, and it caused other problems. My cholesterol skyrocketed. My hormones were out of balance. It's not fun, okay? And,
Tell me about it.
that drives you insane too, because then you have some pretty bad mood swings. I'm pretty sure I had, right? I was miserable all the time. And I'm sure it was because I wasn't eating. Because I was eating. It was because I wasn't eating enough.
Mm-hmm.
You
had to lose all the baby weight.
Yeah.
You know, he felt under pressure.
That's not why. It's kind of why, but I can't lose the baby weight. I have to carry her around all day. She knows that. But yeah, so just make sure, if you, and I didn't talk to anybody, I just did it, right? And I wasn't counting calories, like I said, but I wasn't paying attention to what I was eating either. I just cut portions, basically. So you got to be mindful if you cut portions. Make sure if you cut portions, it's not significant. Like, it's not a significant amount. And make sure you're still hitting, with the portions that you're eating, you're still hitting the goals you need. So there are calculators out there. They're called BMI calculators, or daily expenditure. I'm never going to say that right.
Expenditure?
If you say daily expenditure calculator, you'll come up with it. It's like a TDEE. There's 3 E's. But if you put that in Google, it'll come up with a calculator that basically asks you for your age, your height, and it's not perfect, and your activity level, and it'll give you how much calories you burn just by yourself, without working out, without doing anything, basically just sitting there all day, which you're not going to do. So you're going to burn more. It's an average calorie burning thing, so you want to try to hit that, right? That's how much you want to eat, because you're going to hit at least that. And then maybe a little more depending on your, that's a good guiding tool too, depending on your activity level. You can put your activity level, you can raise it up, so I always do the bottom and the top just to see, because some days I don't move as much because the baby wants to be lazy and she's tired, and then some days she runs around the house even though she can't walk yet, so I run around the house because that's what she wants to do. Right, so I walk a lot more. So there are tools you can use. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. We can send links to you and stuff. And just, you got to be mindful, right? Mindful of what your goals are and what you're putting into your body, and make sure that you put healthy foods into your body too. You don't want to start a health and wellness routine, a fitness routine, and eat Whoppers all day just to try to gain the weight, to gain the muscle. That's going to have some negative effects, especially on your cholesterol. I know all about cholesterol. But you don't want that. Trust me. Blocks arteries. Causes Alzheimer's. You don't want that. Very dangerous stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Lifetime gym membership, and it's called like the InBody, and it's literally like a BMI thing.
I'm not sure if Lifetime is across the country or the globe, whoever is listening, but Lifetime is a big box gym. Very, very large. Very nice gym.
Yeah.
I don't know how far it spans, so just wanted to know that.
Yeah, there's not a ton throughout the U.S., but they are becoming more widely known. I'm sure other gyms have them. Like I said, they're called like InBodies. And so like you stand on it, you like put your arms out, and like it calculates like your whole.
What's in body? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Probably why it's called that.
So, that was helpful, especially during like my nutrition consultation, and just like personal training, but even just good for yourself. And then a lot of them will have like, so ours had like a pin, so I put my pin in, and then it would remember all of my stuff from last time. So there are things like that that I'm sure you can find. So those were helpful, again, because like you said, if you're working out and you might be gaining muscle, now it looks like you gained weight, but it's not really telling you the whole story. So that tells
Correct.
you a little bit larger of a picture of what's going on.
Yeah, if you ever go to the doctors, I don't know if you've gone to the doctors, but when they weigh you and take your height, they also give you your BMI. Some people don't. But they also give you your BMI too, which is very much elevated because it doesn't give you any information.
Yeah.
So don't take that for what it is. If you go to the doctors and your BMI is insanely high and you research what it is and it's like you're severely obese, but you are, like a lean body, can't gain weight type of person, that's normal because that's how those doctor calculators work. Okay, so don't take that to heart. There are those tools, just like the one at the gym that she was talking about.
They get it gives you like how much water like you probably drank that day. Like it's like
InBody.
hydration. Yeah, so
You can go talk to a personal trainer and just ask them. I'd say, hey, can you take my body, not temperature,
can you
my
take
body,
my body temperature?
my body. What is the word I'm looking for? Calculations.
BMI?
My body measurements. Basically, if you just say that, they'll know what you're talking about, and they can instruct you on it. And
isn't it body mass indicator?
Yeah, but there's other things. I'm saying like just the measurements of other things.
Ya.
So, but they'll if they can't do it on the spot, which they can for fairly cheap, they usually have those free ones, which I think the InBody was free as well. You can just stand on it because you're just sitting in the middle of the gym.
Yeah.
So and obviously if the gym's closed, you can't do that because of the pandemic right now. But there are calculators online that you can try to do it yourself, and it's never going to be accurate, fully accurate. Nothing is ever actually fully accurate, so don't take it very much to heart.
But it will be a good guiding.
It'll be a good guidance. Be a good guiding point for you. So, you have anything further? All right. Well,
I don't think so.
We're gonna wrap this episode up there. If you have any questions, we will be doing our follow-up and question and answer. Not next Wednesday. Unfortunately, we'll be out of town, but we'll be doing it next Thursday, the 4th of February. Wait, what time on Thursday? Do you have school?
Only till 7.
Okay, so we'll
so
do it.
As long as you get the baby to sleep.
So we'll do it around 7:30, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, February 4th. That's our follow-up question and answer. We'll be answering questions on anything you heard today, or just questions in general, but mainly on this topic.
Some other random
correct. We'll
tips
follow up on anything else that we want to say, which we usually do, and go from there. So, for those watching on Twitch and YouTube, we appreciate it. You can look over here on your left. That's all of our links. For those listening on the podcast, all links will be in the description. Again, my name is Austin, or hallucinodream. My links will also be in the description. Joining me was my love is. Sorry, not was.
Yeah.
Was
his wife.
Was my wife, is my co-host, Christina. And her links are hidden until further notice. And
till we get divorced, just till the divorce is finalized.
That's right. And then you can find her at Divorcee across all platforms. And we will hopefully see you guys next week for the follow-up and question and answer. And thanks again for tuning in.
Bye.